Hey guys, and welcome back to another mod spotlight. I'm Exterminator, and thanks for joining me. So today we're going to go over another work in progress mod, or that's the section on the forums it's under at least. I've done one other before, the I forget, satellite uplink mod, I think. This one is the smart trains mod, is what we're going to do today. It was requested by someone, and it's one I've kind of been wanting to do for a while, but didn't really want to bother trying to figure out. But with that request, I decided to do it, and it's pretty damn cool, actually, once you figure it out. So there's multiple things we're going to go over. We're going to start down here, and I do want to just give you a quick heads up. This is going to be a bit longer spotlight because there's quite a lot to go over, so probably like 15 or so minutes more than normal. But anyway, let's start. So what does this mod let you do? Well, it lets you do a lot. It essentially does exactly what the name would say. It makes your train smarter. So when you click on a train, or a locomotive rather, or a train station, either a smart one, which the mod adds, or a normal one, you get these different GUIs that will open up. Okay, and this all looks probably pretty confusing. So where to start? Okay, let's start with the very basics here. Essentially, you can tell your trains, there's many different things you can do. You can either A, have it work off of a circuit condition, which is what this is, which I'll explain in a minute. So you can have it say, like, for this one, when the cargo on the train gets below 100 coal, the train will move to the next station, will leave this station, is essentially what happens. So with a very simple wiring condition here, you can, and you don't even need smart inserters or anything. This is the awesome part. If you use a smart train stop, you can essentially just tell it, you know, when, I mean, it doesn't have to be coal, it can be anything, you know, when iron is more than 200, if it's a loading station or whatever, then leave the station. Okay, so that's for very specific amounts. Now, if you just want the train to leave on full or empty, this mod allows you to do that as well. And now these features will be, some of these features will be coming in vanilla in 0.13, but for now this is pretty damn good. So this is what I have set up here. This line here essentially is to demonstrate the full and empty thing, and another feature it adds is the auto refueling, which is really cool. Okay, so there's a lot to go over. Essentially, if you want to use the signals part, or the empty and full conditions, you will need to actually make a line, and I'll show you how to do that, and then you'll need to activate it and mess around with the rules. So let's start off. To make a line, you would add your stations that you want in the train GUI here, like normal. So this is iron 1, this is iron drop off over here to the right. I added them in like normal. And then what you do is you just hit read from UI, and you can name it whatever you want. This one I've named iron test, and you can see here it displays some information. First station iron 1, stations 3, and currently I don't have it active. I will activate it in a minute. And I've also set it to auto depart and auto refuel. So let's go over these first. Auto refueling is a really cool feature, and what it does is essentially, and you can define the numbers that I'm about to go over. You can tell it once it gets below a certain amount of fuel in the train, go to the auto refuel station and then stay there until it hits a certain amount of fuel and then leave. Okay, and the really cool thing though is you don't have to add it manually, right? Because if you did that, it would go there every single time. What this mod allows you to do is if you tell it to refuel, when it hits below the specified amount, right now I believe it's 25, and quick note, that is between all locomotives. It's like cumulative, so right now there's like 55. Once it hits below 25 total, not per locomotive, okay, so that's something to note. Right now I have it set, once it hits below 25, the mod will automatically add the refueling station to the end of the list here, and it will go to it like once it hits that point, right? So it would add it after iron drop off. So once it goes to iron drop off, if it needs the fuel station will be added below this and it will go there. It will fill until it hits 50 in this case is what it's set at, and then it will leave. And you can define these amounts. If you go up here to ST settings, you can tell it exactly. So I actually have 10, not 25, but the concept still applies. Go to refuel station below 10, leave above 50, and actually I think this might be in megajoules, not coal pieces. We'll have to test that, but yeah, I think that's probably what it is. And then you can tell it max refuel time, refuel station. You can rename this, but all this does, and you can see all these options, all this does is rename this part, I believe. Okay, so there's that. Hopefully you've wrapped your head around that. Now, one very important thing to note about these fuel stations is you have to name them based on the type of train it is, okay? So the mod essentially specifies trains based on how many locomotives they have and how many cargo wagons they have, okay? And this is how you have to name your actual stations. Okay, you can see this one here I've named refuel L-CC-L. There's not an extra dash there, that's just the part of the change name thing. So what this is the mod assigns this. This is essentially locomotive, cargo wagon, locomotive. And that's how you have to name your fuel stations, okay? And that's what I've done. And you have to put refuel here as well. So I've named it refuel, and then to correspond with this train, since it's a 1-2-1, one locomotive dash cargo wagon dash locomotive, okay? If I was going to do this one, it would be refuel L-C-L, okay? So that's how you need to name those. Otherwise it won't work. Okay, so now one other quick thing to cover here before we actually test this is the auto depart and refuel features will actually work if you don't add a line, okay? If you just, so this is kind of my test for this, right? We have test 6 here, we have refuel LCL and test 5, okay? So if I take this dude and put him here, I'm just going to demonstrate. I'm not going to add a line or anything for this guy. I'm just going to show you this. And now that we think about it, these settings, this is megajoules, I would assume, because it should work with any type of fuel. This is just like an example, like 10 megajoules happens to be 2 pieces of coal, is what the developer used. So this is in megajoules, not pieces. So that is kind of something to note there. But yeah, so this has essentially 1 piece of coal in each locomotive. If I tell this to go to test 6 and then test 5, and without adding a line, okay, I'm not going to hit this anything, I'm not going to hit read from UI or anything. I just added the stops. If I hit depart and refuel, it'll use both features. And what auto depart does is this basically tells it, it does a check like every 2 seconds, I believe it is, or every 4, one or the other, if the cargo has changed. Okay, if the cargo has changed in that time, it stays there. If the cargo has not changed after each check, like if it checks and the cargo changed, and then it checks again and the cargo didn't change, then it leaves because it tells it that nothing's happening. Okay, so this is kind of a good way to get your trains to leave if like they're going to an empty station you don't know about. Instead of sitting there the whole time, they'll leave just like within a couple seconds if nothing happens. Okay, so that's what that does, and I checked both those, but I didn't add a line. So these 2 features will work without adding a line, okay? So if I tell this guy to go here, you can see refuel station added, waiting, and then depart. He left after a couple seconds, and the fuel station, as you can see, has been added. This guy's waiting, and because of how I designed this, it'll throw a no path error probably. Yeah, but essentially that gives you the idea. It added the refuel station automatically, and it left after a few seconds. That I think was actually like 4 seconds of nothing happening, And there you go. So that's just to demonstrate that those two features will work just without adding a line or anything if you check those in that box. Now let's actually demonstrate the full feature, empty feature, and the actual fueling process. Okay, so let me go ahead and take out, let me just add like 2 pieces of coal and 2 pieces of coal here so it can go to the refueling station. Okay, so essentially this guy's not active either, but I've already added the line. So all I do here is active, and you can see up here it changed. Leave when iron 1, this is full because this is a loading station. Iron 2, and then station 2, iron drop off. Leave when empty because it's an unloading station. Now this still has time set at it, but these will be overridden by these like whatever you call them, features, conditions. There you go. Okay, so if I set this here, now it's added refuel automatically because it doesn't have fuel now. If you can see there, it's saying not full, and it will not leave until it is full. And I'm just going to help this guy along. Now, you do want to be careful with this, right? Because if you have this condition set and it's going to an outpost that's hardly mining anything, your train's going to be sitting there forever because it won't leave until it's full, right? And yeah, so this guy, what this does is it does both conditions, right? So it'll do wait until it's full or the time elapsed, and I believe the time had elapsed 30 seconds. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these out just to show you. It's empty, and now it should go to this refueling station. As you can see, it added it automatically when it was low on fuel. Refueling done because it reached the amount that was specified here, the 50 megajoules I believe it was, and then it goes back to here. Let me just help this guy out a little bit here. And he's not quite full apparently. He's full and then he's going to leave. Okay, so with these conditions, and for these to work, you do have to add a line, okay? But once this empties, then it will go ahead and leave again. You can see there, not empty, it checks again and it's empty. It won't hit the refueling station because it's full on fuel. So once it refuels, it removes the fuel station, okay, which is the very cool part. Now you do want to make sure these are obviously accessible. This was obviously probably not how you'd have it set up. You wouldn't want it in the middle of your train track, but just for, you know, ease of use, that's how I've done it. And again, this guy will wait until he's full, but you can see the red text there, leaving in specified amount. So if you want this to wait like just until it's full all the time, you could just bump this amount up to like infinite or whatever, like the max amount, and then it would like literally wait until it's full. Same with the emptying part, okay? That's how you do that. So there you go, refueling, empty, full. Again, you'd have to add a line. To do that, you add your stations like normal. You want to make sure to check refuel. And then now auto depart will be overridden if you activate it, because it will be overridden by the empty and full features if you are using those. Okay, so you check this, whatever you want here, you do read from UI, it'll add in what you want, and then you can name the station, save as line. Okay, you can change in here the fuel amount and stuff. And if you go down to rules, this is this one. This is where you select, okay? Station smart stop test, which is the station that it's parked at. I could tell it wait till it's full or wait till it's empty, same with the other one. Right now I'm doing a signal, which I'll go over in a second. Okay, so that's how you set all that up. Now for the actual signal part, and it's actually a lot simpler than you might think unless you're trying to do something very complicated. For this you need a smart station. These stations were not smart, okay? So all these features here I just showed will work with normal stations. Okay, this station here is a smart station. You can see it here. And I assume it's unlocked through some type of research. We won't spend time looking through that. Okay, and all we have to do, it's actually quite simple. There is a decider or a whatever the hell this is, constant combinator here, and like a light thing here, and you can hook these up to a combinator if you want and set a condition that way, or you can just wire them together for whatever condition you want and it will work. Okay, so what I've done is I've taken a green wire, it could be red as well. I've wired from the light to this dude, and I set if coal is less than 100. Okay, because essentially I want this train to leave this station and go to the next one on the schedule once coal's less than 100 in the cargo. Okay, so the station will check the cargo, and once it's less than 100, it'll leave. And we're going to go ahead and test that. Okay, so right now I have this guy to auto depart, which is fine. And yeah, so if we do this here, and we have this guy unload, you can see when this hits about, it won't be exact because there's that like 2 or 4 second check, but it reached 100. Again, there was a slight delay because of the checking time, and it left. And then he's going to wait here for 10 seconds just because there's no rules or anything, and I set this stop to 10 seconds, and he'll go back, and then should leave pretty quickly because coal is already less than 100. Okay, so that's essentially how that works. Is you can see waiting for rules, and it checked, which took about 4 seconds, and it leaves again. Okay, so it's easy as that. It is really just easy as that to set a condition. If you like any condition like this, right, that you want to do, you can just do it straight on the stop, or you can do stuff with combinators and wire them up to this guy. But if you just want very simple ones like this, and you can do it the other way around too, right? So like on a loading station, if you want to just have it like only load until there's 500 iron in the station, in the cargo thing, you would just change this to iron, change this to greater 2, and change this to 500, and it would do the same thing. Once it hits 500, it would leave. Okay, so that way you can set very specific amounts, which is pretty awesome. And the last thing to go over here, I know we've been going on a little bit, but quite a bit to cover. This is a newer feature which is going to be a little hard to explain, and it'll actually probably be better for you to look at it, because this map, actually, this is a test save or a demo save provided by the developer, which you can find on the forum post for the mod, which is in the description. I just happened to build all this other stuff myself, but this was already here, and this is a good way to figure this out yourself, but I'll try to explain it. So this new feature essentially lets your circuit conditions and stuff determine where the train goes. And I am not very good with circuit conditions, so that's why I'm going to not really explain this part, because to be completely honest with you, I don't really know what a lot of it means. But again, you can grab this demo save from the forum post of the mod and just check it out yourself. You'll have this exact setup. And to get it moving, what we're going to do is, these are the instructions in the mod post. We add a thing of iron, a thing of copper, and a thing of coal. You can see we have coal stop, iron stop, copper, yeah, there we go. This guy is mixed mining, and this guy is decider. So all three of these, what's going to happen is this guy is going to go to the decider, and then based on that, it's going to decide essentially for it which station it needs to go to. And then once it leaves that station, once the cargo is empty, it's going to go back to the decider and do it again, and then do it again. And once it's completely empty, it's going to go back to this mixed mining. Okay, so if we tell this guy to go, now for now it's just going to go to iron, right? You won't really be able to tell that it's working until the next time. So going to iron, once it unloads iron, it's going to go back to decider. And then the cool part is, you can see here, all stations are added. So like right now it's not going to do anything because I didn't take the iron out. If I take the iron out, it's going to decider. So all the stations are added, but what this is going to do is it already knows now that there's no iron. So it's going to go to copper. And once the copper empties, it's going to go back to decider, and since there's no iron or copper, it's going to go to coal, and so on. So essentially this will stop it from like going to a station that it doesn't need to. Since it doesn't have iron or copper, it doesn't need to go to either of the stations. Okay, but since it has coal, it still needs to go to the coal station, which is down here. I've been pointing at the wrong ones, but you get the gist. If I take this out, it should go back to mixed mining after it goes to decider. Okay, so again, the actual circuit conditions, I am not too great with those. I can like look at them really quick for you, but it'll probably be best for you to just look yourself and play around with it. And then this guy's just infinitely going to go between these two until I add something. But like if I add, well, if I were to have added like iron, it would go to the iron station. So it knows where to go based on the cargo, which is really cool. So iron is greater than 0. Copper is greater than iron. And I didn't do it quite fast enough there, but you get the idea. So that's pretty much it. That's the last main feature to cover. I believe it's a newer station. You can see going to iron. It knows it has iron now. And we are using smart train stations here, okay? That's the key. All this is wired up to the smart train stations because those can read the cargo. If I take this out, he'll go back to the decider, so on and so forth. Okay. Green is greater than 10. Okay, so each is greater than 0. Output, input count. Again, I'm not really the one to be explaining these things. Best to look for yourself. But there you go. So very, very cool mod. A lot of these features will be added in 0.13, but until then, definitely worth checking out. You can do all types of stuff. Wait until it's full, wait until it's empty, decide specific amounts with a very simple wire condition here, just wiring between your little light doohickey and this constant combinator thing here. And then you can have it do the auto refuel, and it will auto refuel itself when it needs to, and then remove it afterwards, and continue on. So there you go. I don't think I forgot anything. I hope not. See the recipe there for the smart train stop. And yeah, you can see here, now it's just doing it based on the time because the condition isn't being met. But yeah, there you go. So I hope that covered it all. I hope it wasn't too confusing for you. I tried to explain it the best I could. It took me like an hour and a half to figure it all out, so it can be a bit confusing. But yeah, definitely go check out it. The mod link in the description. You can read through it. A lot of the features are explained there, as well as the demo save that you can download to test out this feature specifically. And there you go. So as always, thank you so much for watching. Really appreciate it. Let me know if I forgot anything. If you have any questions, I'll try to help out, unless it has something to do with like these circuit things up here, because I don't know any of that. And yeah, until next time, guys, I look forward to seeing you all.